When students come to me for painting guidance, my first question is almost always, how much time do you actually have? And more often than not, the answer is 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 times a week. And that's usually the generous estimate. Look, we all have pretty busy lives, so securing a 2 to 3 hour time slot is already a big win. But there is a problem with oil painting, is setting up alone can easily swallow an hour. Pulling out your paint tubes, scraping off dusty palette residue, prepping brushes, adjusting the easel, pulling canvases out of the storage room, then cleaning up at the end can take up another hour. And it's tempting to skip on prep or cleanup, but if you do, your studio turns into a chaotic mess. You end up wasting expensive materials, ruining your brushes. So there can be no skipping of essential stages in the painting process. So what started as a dedicated 2 to 3 hour time block is actually just 1 hour to 45 minutes of effective painting time. And this is depressing, it's very discouraging, and it's one of the biggest daily problems that painters face. But the good news is you don't need a radical overhaul or a massive studio to fix it, and you don't need to pick up a new hobby. A few practical adjustments to your workspace and workflow will eliminate the friction, letting you spend less time wrestling with gear and more time actually making art. So let me show you. Okay, so the number one thing is to leave your easel and your palette in place. Packing away all your gear after every session is the number one time killer. Unfolding a portable easel, hunting down for paint boxes, getting something from the garage, setting up a lighting stand. It eats up precious energy before you even lay a single brushstroke on the canvas. If possible, you want to lay a permanent footprint for your setup, even if it's just a small corner of a room. What matters isn't the size or the space, it's that your easel, your palette, can stay in place. We want the core of the studio to stay in place, ready for action the moment we have time to paint. And I know that it takes a considerable amount of space, and if you think that you don't have enough room at your house, just know that you don't need a massive dedicated studio space like mine. I'm very lucky to have this, but in my guide, the practical guide to oil painting techniques and materials, the link is in the description, I share strategies for setting up a pocket-sized studio with a minimal footprint. Let's say you use a multi-purpose space like a guest room for painting. You can keep your painting station fully set up year-round and only pack it down on the rare occasions when guests actually come to stay. Number two is you want to build a workstation, not just a studio. You want to think about how you move while painting, and you want to have everything easily accessible. Where's your palette knife? Where are your rags? Where are your medium bottles? Where is your tape? See, I can grab it without looking. Where is your measuring stick? It's here. Where is your plumb line? It's in this drawer. If you have to walk across the room to grab something, then you are constantly breaking your focus, your concentration. You're constantly polluting the workflow of your painting session, and you're losing time. And you're also exhausting yourself just grabbing out things from all over the place. Everything you need during a session should be accessible with a simple movement of your arm. Build an ergonomic workstation centered around your painting position. Pick your painting position, and everything should be at immediate reach with just a movement of your arm. And here, if you use liquid, you will see that I've removed the security cap on my bottle of liquid just because it saves a couple seconds. I mean, those little tips, they add up. Now, pro tip is keep your most frequently used tools like the rags, the mediums, your main brushes right beside your palette. Don't go any further. The palette is where everything happens. It's kind of the center. It's actually the more central space of the studio, maybe more than the canvas itself. Another pro tip for your workstation is where do you put your brush? I don't generally recommend putting the brushes in some type of jar like that, because most of the time it's kind of messy and it takes a long time to just pick up the right brush without, you know, making your hands all dirty. So what I really like to do is to have a little workstation. It's actually not flat, it's slightly tilted like that. And I've made little separations so that they don't roll around, and they're pretty secure here. This is how it looks like. You see the slight angle, and see, it's very practical, it's very sturdy. And I keep all my brushes here. I can keep many brushes, as you can see, and I have some more storage room right there for my mediums and stuff. Another pro tip is to place your trash bin directly beside your workstation so that you can toss your dirty rags, paper towels with one hand while holding a brush in the other, so that you just save time. See, generally I am holding my brush here, I can reach and close. You can use a whole lot of mounts, hooks, strips of all kinds around your easel to attach things all over the place. What matters is that you can access all the important thing without even looking. You just know where it is, so that you can mostly focus on your canvas, focus on your work. You don't even have to think about, where's my palette knife? Yeah, of course it's here, because it's perfectly in its place. I've made a little special place for it right next to my palette. It's in my workstation, and my workstation, I know it by heart. Now let's talk more specifically about the palette and how to organize your colors so that you can develop a palette routine. Keep the layout of your palette consistent so that your hands know exactly where everything is without having to look. It's the same idea of almost making it a reflex. You want to every time lay out your paints in the exact same order every single session. Typically, in my case, this would be white, yellow ochre, some type of orange here, then some type of red, then quinacridone and rose, then I'm going to use here some burnt umber, then I'm probably going to use ultramarine blue, then black, and then some green or other type of cyan on my palette. And this is generally my typical organization. When your palette layout is predictable, you do color mixing with muscle memory almost. You stop wasting time deciding what pigment to use or what paint tube to reach for, and you know exactly how to mix a pigment. But you have to first establish a reliable core palette, a go-to palette that covers most situations. If you aren't sure which colors to pick, you can check out my recommended paint selection and also download my free color wheel resource. The link is all in the description below, and this is a great way to start. After that, you can come up with your own go-to palette that's catered to your paint style. Number 4 is switch to a glass palette. I used to love this arm palette, but it was just so long to clean it at the end of each session. It was so much maintenance to keep it clean. Glass provides an ultra smooth mixing surface that makes cleanup very quick and low effort. And at the end of a session, a simple glass scraper or razor blade will remove everything dried, and then you can just spray some window cleaner on it and very easily clean the surface. That's just how easy it is. Plus, one of the great benefits is that you can have any color you want as the background. Here I've chosen a very neutral gray. And pro tip, if you plan to paint again the next day and your paint pals are still relatively fresh on the palette, what you can do is you can cover the palette tightly with kitchen plastic wrap overnight, and it will slow down the oxidation and keep your mixed pals workable for the next session. Keep in mind that this works best if the temperature in your studio is relatively cool, because in a very warm studio, it will still cause the paint to skin over faster and dry faster. Number 5, you want to stop deep cleaning your brushes every time. Washing brushes with soap and water is great, but it's great for doing a full deep clean after a long time of using the brushes. But if you plan on using the same brushes every day, then you don't need to clean them. You can keep them wet in a bath of a slow drying oil overnight so that you can spare the time of cleaning them with soap and water. And what I do is I use a bath of safflower oil. See, it's still the same like little tilt angle. And what I have to do every time I want to pick up my brush to begin a session is I just remove the excess oil in the brush. And it's artist quality oil, by the way, so I have no problem here. And I just keep my brushes here overnight. I just clean them, remove the excess oil, and at the end of the session, I put them in this little bath of safflower oil, and then they're good to go. And that's it for the day. I share many more tricks in my practical guide to oil painting and also on my Patreon, so check out my resources in the description below. It helps the channel, it helps me continuing to make videos like that. I'll see you for the next one, my friends, and as always, joy and inspiration to you. Bye.